Browns wide receiver Jerry Jeudy has been on an absolute tear since week 8. Coincidentally, not so much, when Jameis Winston started for them at quarterback. And against his former team on Monday Night Football, he tore them apart. But was his massive day mostly him, or was it the defensive coverage? Well, we're going to break down some film to figure that part out. And we're also going to take a look at some advanced stats and look at his profile to see how he fits in an NFL offense and then how he's been performing compared to the rest of his peers. Jerry Jeudy was selected 15th overall in the 2020 NFL Draft by the Denver Broncos, and up until week 8 of this year, he was generally considered a massive bust. I mean, when you had wide receivers like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson in this draft, it's really easy to make you look bad. He did have a couple big games throughout his career, but really wasn't consistent enough. Steve Smith called him mid. He took massive offense to that, but really didn't do much at the time to show that he wasn't. But then from week 8 on, he has shown massive improvement, but a lot of it is due to having a quarterback that will actually throw him the ball, Deshaun Watson. When we take a look at his profile, he's 6'1", 193. That's theoretically somebody, depending on their athleticism, that could play X, slot, or as a flanker. He's more so a slot wide receiver, but he does play some flanker and a little bit of X too. Looking at his athleticism, his 4.45 40-yard dash is 81st percentile, so that's great. And his size-adjusted athleticism is still really good too, with a 67th percentile speed score, which is height and weight-adjusted speed. But his 40th percentile burst does leave some to be desired, as well as his 34th percentile catch radius. And so when you put all of these together, he definitely can play X, but he's better used as a slot or flanker wide receiver. And you wouldn't know from some of these stats, but it is better for him to not have to face press coverage. It's not as if he can't beat it, but he is better when he doesn't have press coverage. Taking a look at his utilization, he plays 65.3% of his snaps from the slot and only 33.5% out wide. So he's generally a slot wide receiver, but he's not a limited wide receiver in the sense that he can't play as an X or a flanker. And so I wanted to take a look from weeks 8 to 13 among wide receivers with at least 30 targets, which is a total of 43, so a decent sample size, to see just how Jerry Jeudy compared to them. In this time frame, he ran 233 routes, which is 95.1% of the total team routes. Like I said, he plays 65.3% of his routes from the slot in this time frame and 33.5% out wide. But look at some of these advanced stats. They are impressive. His yards per out run of 2.64 is 7th among the sample size. His PFF receiving grade of 84.2 is 6th. His yak per reception of 6.3 is 7th. His missed tackles forced of 3 is tied for 17th, and his contested catches of 3 are tied for 29th. He isn't the best player in terms of creating yards after the catch. If you leave him wide open space, he's definitely going to be able to run, but he's not exactly dynamic per se in the open field. His 48 targets, though, are 8th in this time frame. His 33 receptions are tied for 11th. His 614 receiving yards are 1st. And his 2 touchdowns are tied for 15th. And so when we take a look at some of these advanced stats, they are showing that he is absolutely an elite wide receiver because he's being compared to only elite target earners in this time frame for the most part. But what do we see from him on film? Does the film back what we're seeing up? Let's take a look. All right, so taking a look at Jeudy's first target, he's on the outside. He's going to be running a crosser, and you're going to get a shallow cross or a drag route by David Njoku. The Broncos are in a bit of an interesting defense to diagnose. So I believe it's a cover 3, and half of it is a match principle, because Pat Surtain here acts in man coverage and turns his back to Jameis Winston, which would indicate man coverage. But this entire side of the defense is in zone and clearly because they're not matching up in man coverage against anybody. Then you have a robber defender here, and you have what I believe should be a deep middle field safety here, but he kind of plays a deep half. So it's a little bit of a tricky coverage, but it's not going to work. Jerry Jeudy is going to get a 46-yard catch here. So the conflict defender being the robber safety here, He is going to bite on the Njoku drag route, which is going to leave a wide open hole for Jerry Jeudy to be found. And oh boy, is he going to get a long gain here. So very good play calling by the Cleveland Browns. And so you can see right here, this safety is playing a deep half, so potentially some kind of cover 6. Maybe they had some miscommunication. Strange defense, in my opinion. But he is a conflict defender. He is going to have to decide as to whether he wants to go up and contest David Njoku. And I don't think he saw the Jerry Jeudy crosser because he probably would have kept his depth otherwise. But once again, the conflict defender, he is going to bite on Njoku, which is therefore going to leave Jerry Jeudy wide open. And that is how he began his over 200-yard receiving day. Very excited for him that he was able to do this against his former team. Even if they didn't come out with a W, he did everything. He absolutely did his part in that regard. Good play overall. It was a bit of a busted coverage, so it's not as if he per se routed anybody up, but he did time his route very well, and he made the most of it and got a solid amount of yards after catch. Taking a look at Jeudy's second target, he's running a stab route. The Broncos are going to be in a cover 4 match. You're going to have 4 deep quarter players with underneath coverage. So, a couple things. On this play, I do like Jerry Jeudy's feel for the zone coverage and where to drop underneath to ensure that he has separation. He's going to have about 5 yards of separation between him and the nearest defender when he stops his route. The thing, though, is that Jameis is under duress and has to roll to the right. And I do think that Jerry Jeudy could have continued his route just a little bit this way to help out Jameis and not make him have to throw cross body. And so I don't like that he's static at the end of his route when he sees Jameis is in trouble. And so Jameis is going to overthrow him. He's under heavy duress, so it's not really a negative for Jameis. And to be fair to Jerry Jeudy, he was open. He did have 5 yards of separation, but I would like to see him work with Jameis a little bit more. And so he sees right here that Jameis is under duress and rolling to the right. And so he is going to stop his route and put his and get ready to catch the ball. But the defender's quickly closing on him. Jameis is under a ton of pressure right here. And so he's going to throw it a little bit high, and he's not going to end up completing it. But I really do think he could have worked with Jameis a little bit more on this play and not been so static at the end. Yeah. And so it wasn't a completion, but he was open. He does have a good feel for the soft spots in zone coverage, but I would like to see him work with Jameis just a little bit more to make his life easier. Looking at Jeudy's third target, he's going to go in motion. He is running a skinny post deep down the field. The Broncos are going to be in a cover 3, so you're going to have 2 deep third defenders here, deep third defender in the middle, and a robber underneath. The issue on this play is that PJ Locke does not get nearly enough depth, which exposes the deep middle of the field. Then you have Levi Wallace. He's going to do his best, but with him having outside leverage on this play, he's just at a natural disadvantage with Jerry Jeudy running the skinny post, being on the outside of him. And so this play is wide open, and if Jameis Winston is able to connect on this ball, it's probably a walk-in touchdown. Unfortunately for him, he's going to overthrow Jeudy just a little bit. And so right here, you can already see that PJ Locke is not nearly deep enough on this play. And with Levi Wallace having the outside coverage, Jerry Jeudy is going to have a wide open area to run into. The only issue is that he's overthrown. That is probably a walk-in touchdown, but at the very least a gain of 50-plus yards. And so it is a little bit disappointing. But props to Jerry Jeudy. He got open. Such a shame because imagine how big his day would have been. He probably has over 300 yards if that play is connected on. On this target, Jerry Jeudy is running a deep dig route. The Broncos are going to be in quarters coverage, so you're going to have 4 deep quarter defenders, and then you're going to have underneath coverage. Jeudy is going to press the cornerback here really hard before he makes his cut. So I really like his route running here. I like the tempo. The only issue is he does not come back to the ball enough on this play, in my opinion. He makes a really tough contested grab, so props to him in that regard and as far as the route running is concerned. But this is another play where he could really help out Jameis by coming back to the ball a little bit more. So I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I really like how he's trying to press the cornerback here to make him back off, as well as the safety. And then he's going to make a smooth cut. And so he is open. Now, when Jameis, he's throwing this ball right now, he is open, but he is going to just stand there and wait for the ball, and the defender almost gets to it. He makes a really tough contested grab, so, props to him in that regard, but man, he definitely could have made a better effort, in my opinion, to come back to the ball. Jameis has no fears. He just chucks the ball. It's good and bad, but he could definitely make his life a little bit easier by trying to come back to that ball just a little bit more. On this play, Jerry Jeudy is running a curl. On an earlier play, the coverage by the defense or the Broncos was a little bit confusing. I think it was a cover 6 match because they're running the same thing here, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're running. So it's going to look like cover 2 on this side of the field with a hard flat and a deep half safety, but you're going to get 2 deep quarters on this side of the field. It is matched though, and so Pat Surtain's going to act in man coverage against Jerry Jeudy. On this play, Jerry Jeudy stops on an absolute dime when he turns around to catch the pass, and he uses a subtle shove on Pat Surtain. So he's going against Pat Surtain on this play, which makes it even more impressive. I'll show you what I mean. And so he's going to press him really hard and then just get a subtle shove with that arm, create just enough separation, snags the ball, and gets over the line of scrimmage or over the first down marker. Very, very impressive route running. Plus, it's against a shutdown corner like Pat Surtain, too. Yeah, you could definitely tell that Jerry Jeudy was extremely motivated to absolutely demolish his former team. And to be fair to him, he absolutely did that in this game. If you like what you're seeing and hearing so far, feel free to like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. I love doing these player breakdowns where we take a look at a player's profile, advanced stats, and then break down what we see from them on film to see just what we can surmise from all of these things put together. And so if you want to see more content like this, just like and subscribe. And if there's any player in which you would like me to create a video for, just let me know below in the comment section. Thanks. On this target, Jerry Jeudy's in the middle of this bunch. The Browns are going to be running a flood concept where you have a flat route, the outside receiver is going to run a go, and you're going to get a deep out by Jerry Jeudy. It is a little bit of an interesting formation, and so it's not lined up like a traditional cover 3, but you would have a deep third defender, and deep third defender with a flat underneath. And so it's a really good play call because you would have a deep third defender on the streak, and then you would have the flat defender on the flat route, therefore leaving a hole in the zone coverage, which there is going to be a hole in the zone. Jerry Jeudy on this play, pay attention to the pacing of his route. It's masterful here. And so you'll see that he's going to just jog and stroll along before making his cut, timing it up perfectly so that this wide receiver can take the deep third defender out of the play. And the flat zone defender does see this coming, but he is just a hair too late. Jeudy snags it, falls down to avoid a massive hit. Good play and good tempo on the route by Jerry Jeudy. Very, very impressive. Like I said, he has a really good feel for the soft spots in zone coverage. And in my opinion, he hasn't really displayed it on any of these routes, but I think he is a top 5 route runner in the NFL. I wish they would run him on some routes that would really show this for you. But in terms of his route running, he is absolutely top tier. On this play, Jerry Jeudy is running a 15-yard curl. The Broncos are going to be in cover 3 match, and so you're going to have 3 deep third defenders. Pat Surtain's going to turn his back to the quarterback and act in man coverage against Jeudy. Just like the play before, Jerry Jeudy here displays very good and savvy route running. He is going to pace his route properly. He's going to create a little bit of separation with a subtle shove of Pat Surtain and make a nice catch on the sideline. I do think he was looking for a back shoulder, though, because you'll see right here, he's peeking at Jameis, and then a subtle shove. Nice catch, both feet in bounds, good body control. Like I said, that potentially was looking to be a back shoulder, but nonetheless, it worked. The best part of the play was the subtle shove, though. It threw Pat Surtain 3 to 5 yards off of him. Really nice catch on the sideline, too. On Jerry Jeudy's 70-yard touchdown, he's going to go in motion, and just like where he had before, he is going to run a deep skinny, and he's going to be absolutely wide open. The only difference is Jameis connects with him this time. So the Broncos are blitzing everybody in terms of all the linebackers and down linemen and edge players. And I believe they have a cover 4 here based on how far off the cornerbacks are. If it's a cover 2, the safeties did not do their job. So Pat Surtain is going to run a little bit low here. 39 here, Levi Wallace is going to also allow Jeudy to get behind him, but then he's going to immediately realize what's happening and try to get deep. Both of these safeties play a robber look, and so it is a little bit of an interesting coverage here, but it's either PJ Locke or Levi Wallace. Somebody is at fault here, and they just let him run wide open. And so you can see here, both of the safeties are playing down. And it's potentially Levi Wallace's fault here, but he is going to be flat-footed as well. He does realize what's happening, but at that point, Jerry Jeudy is running full speed ahead, and he is just getting started. And so he is going to be wide open. The true definition of a walk-in touchdown, because at the end here, he is just going to fall backwards into the end zone like Deshaun Jackson did back in the day. So busted coverage for sure. As to who is at fault here, if it was a true cover 4, PJ Locke did not get deep enough. Regardless, though, walk-in touchdown. Very exciting for Jerry Jeudy. And another 70 yards to go on the day for him. Absolutely dominating his former team. On the final play we're going to take a look at here, Jerry Jeudy is in the slot. He is going to be running a crossing route. The Broncos are going to be in cover 4, and so you're going to have quarters coverage, in other words, 4 deep quarter defenders with underneath coverage, and this guy's going to be in the flat. This is just, once again, a completely busted coverage. There is nobody within 10 yards of Jerry Jeudy. He makes quick work of this and gets a lot of yak, too. I have to say, and as you can see, the middle linebacker here has no feel and just does not even try to cover him. It isn't per se his responsibility to be in this side of the field, but he did not feel Jeudy at all, apparently. So once again, busted coverage, tons of yak. Way too easy. I mean, he was already beating you on decent coverage. I'm going to say the Broncos defense in this game had some of the worst coverage I have ever seen before. If PFF could give out negative grades, I don't think they go below 0, but PJ Locke and Levi Wallace deserve to be in the negatives in this game, in my opinion. He did plenty on his own, but this game was full of complete lapses in coverage. But to be fair to Jerry Jeudy, he absolutely took advantage of it. And if Jameis had hit him on that would-be touchdown earlier in the game, he would have had over 300 receiving yards against his former team. And so what are we to think of Jerry Jeudy? Well, if we're being fair and honest, a lot of his production on Monday Night Football came from busted coverages, But even when he was matched up with Pat Surtain, it was generally match coverage, but he's still acting in man coverage. He created subtle separation to be able to catch a couple of those curls. We saw that he was used on skinny post, dig routes, crossers, all over the field. So I like the utilization. They used him in motion quite a bit too. I like that. They tried to keep him away from Pat Surtain, which is always a good idea, and definitely helped maximize his yardage. On some of those broken, busted coverage plays, if Pat Surtain was in coverage, I'm not sure he would have had the same results, but he can't help who's covering him. He just did his job. And so it was a bit of a mixed bag in terms of how the production was created on Monday Night Football. But looking at his advanced stats, a majority of them do show that he is playing as an elite wide receiver. Among that sample size, he was 7th in yards per out run, 6th in PFF receiving grade, 7th in yak per reception, and 1st in total receiving yards. And so, in terms of just how good is he, in terms of being a complete wide receiver in the sense of his utilization, he can definitely win at X, but he's better used as a flanker or a slot. And so I would definitely call him a slot wide receiver, but not limited in that sense like some other players that are classified as slot wide receivers. Thinking about how he is before, during, and after the catch, before the catch, he is one of the better players in the NFL. His route running is absolutely superb. He makes crisp cuts. He has great short area agility. He has a great feel for the soft spots in zone coverage. We did see that on film. During the catch, he's fine. He's not the contested catch king or anything. And after the catch, he's fine as well. And so where does he rank among the wide receivers in the NFL? That question is a little bit tricky in my opinion. I would say he's definitely a top 30 wide receiver. He just hasn't been able to display that. I figure he's probably somewhere in that 20 to 30 range, but some of you may agree and disagree. And so if you agree with that, let me know below in the comment section. And if you disagree, let me know if he should be a little bit higher than about 20 to 30 or a little bit lower. And if there's anybody that you would like to see covered in a video, just let me know below in the comment section. With that being said, if you like what you've seen and heard in this video, feel free to like and subscribe. I love doing these videos where we take a look at players' profiles, advanced stats, and then what we see from them on film to ascertain just to how good some of these wide receivers are compared to some of their peers and how they're best utilized in the NFL. So if you want to see more content, just like and subscribe. Thanks.